I'd like to welcome everybody to the Southbridge Town Council meeting, Monday, November 17th, 2025, 7 p.m., McKinney Council Chambers. First agenda item, Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda item number 2, Madam Secretary, roll call.
Councillor Lazo.
Present.
Councillor Montigny.
Present.
Councillor Adams.
Present.
Councillor Chenier.
Present.
Councillor Daniel.
Present.
Councillor Dow.
Present.
Councillor Kelly.
Present.
Councillor Ortiz.
Excused.
Councillor Provost.
Present.
We have a quorum. Moving on to agenda item number 3, consider and accept the minutes of the November 3rd, 2025 meeting.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes of that meeting? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 4, subcommittee reports. Department of Public Works.
Thank you, Mr.
Councilor
Chair.
Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. We had a meeting on November 10th. Agenda items number 15 and 16 are on tonight's agenda. No meeting scheduled in the future. Thank you.
Moving on to Education and Human Services. Councilor Montigny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a meeting on Monday, November 10th at 5:45 p.m. and just a couple items tonight.
Thank you. Moving on to C, General Government. Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. We have not had a meeting since our last town council session. We do, however, have one scheduled for this coming Wednesday.
Thank you. Moving on to Planning and Development. Councilor Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. We had a meeting on Wednesday, November 10th. There are 12 items tonight that are being discussed, items number 17 through 28. Thank you.
Moving on to Protections of Person and Property. Councilor Ortiz is not here. Is there anybody on the committee that had
I don't have any notes.
no report?
No notes.
No report at this time. Moving on to Chairman's announcements. I have a couple of things. First, I'd like to thank and congratulate at the same time for Veterans Day. Special shout out for Councilor Adams, who is the president of the council, but the Veterans Council did an outstanding job on the Veterans Day ceremonies. I also would like to congratulate Councilor Kelly on his accolades as a soldier and being recognized. But I have a special thanks for somebody that's not here in Southbridge. His name is Paul Chenier. He watches every meeting. He cares about Southbridge like he still lives here. He's a little ways down south. Paul Chenier took it upon himself to create a gold medallion, and that he wanted it presented, and he's a Vietnam veteran, and he eats, sleeps, and lives Southbridge, and he's not even here. But like we always say, you can take the boy out of Southbridge, but you can never take the Southbridge out of the boy. And Paul Chenier is one of those guys that he's constantly outreaching through his brother George, and I thank you, George, for pushing this forward, asking me as chairman to present it to Councilor Adams. But a special thank you to you, Paul Chenier, for everything you do for the town of Southbridge from so many miles away as a veteran.
Thank you.
Secondly, we had a meeting with the Commissioner of Education, Pedro Martinez, Dr. Pedro Martinez. It was a leadership meeting, and we talked frankly with the gentleman about where we were, where we are, and where we should be going. I think we're on the same page right now, but again, everybody shares this optimism every time the state changes a new commissioner. He was very pleasant. I gave him the welcome from the Southbridge Town Council in the town of Southbridge. He was totally enthralled and amazed at the town, at the middle high school. He says he hasn't seen a building that nice in a long time. So I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic, moving forward. I think the school committee is doing all the training they're supposed to be doing. The council has been working hand in hand. Metzger, town manager, acting town manager, We're all trying to work for a better Southbridge to get our schools back sooner than later. But again, when you put a new man at the helm, he has to get his feet wet, he has to get a grip on what's going on in Southbridge, but also what's going on in the state and with receiverships. They don't work. I think everybody knows that. It's hard to get out of it, and I think the opinions are much different between the townspeople and the state. But going forward, we'll work on it together, and we'll get things done. That's it from the chairman. I would like to go on to town manager's announcements. Madam Town Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have a few announcements today. First, an important update on health insurance. Blue Cross Blue Shield and UMass Harrington have successfully reached a new 3-year agreement. This means that any notices retirees, employees have received from UMass about potential changes in services no longer apply, and there will be no changes in coverage effective January 1st, 2026. Secondly, I attended a municipal roundtable focused on healthcare cost management for fiscal year 2027 on November 6th. The panel included Michael Caljow, Commissioner of Insurance, Troy Clarkson, CFO for the City of Brockton, Eric Swain, Vice President of United Healthcare, as well as several municipal leaders from across the state. A major takeaway from that roundtable was that many of the recommended strategies to manage rising healthcare, such as offering high deductible plans, diversifying our health benefits and plan options, exploring plan design changes, and implementing employee health programs, the town of Southbridge have already taken steps toward these strategies, and we have implemented them in the last couple of years. However, it was also clear that long-term affordability issues will likely require legislative changes at the state level. Communities across Massachusetts, both municipal and private sector, should anticipate significant cost increases in FY27. We will continue to explore every possible option available to us. And lastly, an update on 30 Mill Street demolition project. Over the past week, I have received multiple inquiries from citizens and business owners. I want to assure you that public safety is our highest priority. We are working closely with fire, police, DPW, water department, sewer department, and inspections to finalize a comprehensive action plan. Any delay in communication has not been to withhold information, but that the information we do share is accurate and complete. Once the time frame and final action plan are established, we will hold a joint meeting with all affected business owners to review the logistics. Depending on the plan, there may or may not be closures. We are not sure of how long those will be, but we will make sure to relay that information once we have it. And I will be happy to answer any questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions? If not, I would just like to add a little something to that, because I know this is one of those historical buildings where a lot of the families, when the migrants came in back in the early days from Europe, they worked there. It was the Hamilton Woolen, Westwood Textile. They had different names, but we made all efforts not to take the building down. We got the DEP involved and the actual, is any hazardous waste in there. But most of all, we hired an engineer to put the diagnostics to the building. And there are some things in the building that just make it impossible to save. That's the quote. So moving forward, there's a lot of discussion about the tower and different things, but the thing is, the building has been breached. The base of the building has blown out, the bricks. And they're worried about, if it does come down, how far can that building reach, especially when you have the Eagles Club, businesses, Abacus, and various other people, Patton's Group. They're quite worried about it, but the public safety is going to be paramount on it as the town manager said. Thank you. If there's no further discussion on the manager's announcements, moving on to presentations. Are there any presentations? We don't have any at this time. Moving on to citizens forum. Are there any citizens that would like to address the town council on any issue not on the agenda tonight?
David Barraza, 1-3 Ave, Apartment A. I understand that, and I know that you people are aware of what's going on up there. The person that purchased that piece of property is ruining the lives of the seniors that lived in this community all their lives and destroying them physically, mentally. It's awful, awful. We received a letter Friday, and the letter reads, after careful consideration and many conversations with the Lebanon Hill Tenants Association, we are providing an update of renewal information to tenants who rent under the $16.50 market rent. Now, $16.50. I've been looking, there's places all over the place, Worcester, everywhere. Yeah, they're getting $16.50. They're getting $17, $18, $2,000. But they also have in-ground swimming pools, weight rooms, meeting places, you know, and they're beautiful. This lady cares zero about the people that work their whole life in this community. And it's very, very sad. She goes on to say that we know this will be an impact, right here, for any who decline to accept this deal. Now she's offering $1,400 a month rent for a one-year lease. Anybody that refuses that deal, she says clearly, you'll have to vacate the property. I don't understand where she's coming from. I don't know how she can say that, because legally she can't. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I understand. People want to make money. Everybody wants to make money. But Saturday, I went around and spoke to many of the tenants. And it was incredible. It was heartbreaking. By the time I was done, I was sick to my stomach. There's an elderly lady, her husband's dying. He doesn't even know. She doesn't know if it's going to be 2 days, 2 weeks, or a month. Does Emily care? Not at all. She doesn't care. She wants her money. There was another gentleman that we all know, and this time of year, he put a smile on many people's faces in this town. He was sitting on his sofa crying because he has no place to go. And he can't afford this kind of rent. I know personally, I'm not giving in. Whether I live on a street, it doesn't matter. What I am asking for is the council's support in this fight. We are working with Housing for All, and But she comes up with these dirty deals. She sent the letter out Thursday, it was after 5 o'clock. We got it. And the deadline was today at 5 o'clock to accept that rent. It's like she's not negotiating. She's in negotiations, but she's not negotiating. We've met with her twice. The first time we met with her was probably 50, 60 people that lived there. And I asked her straight out, are you going to raise the rent? She says, no. I said, can you put that in writing? She says, I will. I said, okay. About 10 minutes later, I asked her the same question. She said, yes. I said, can you put it in writing? She said, no. She said, yes. The following time we met, she was there with her lawyer, and she says, well, I don't have any choice but to raise the rent. And I raised my hand. I said, wait a minute. I says, you told us you were not raising it, and you would put it in writing. She says, I did. No one has ever seen anything in writing from her about not raising the rent. And then she comes up with stuff like this. It's so saddening to see what she is doing to the elderly up there. It's, you know, I understand everybody wants to make money, but you don't go out and buy a car and not try it out. You just don't do that. She had to know what she was coming into. She had to know that these people were elderly and on fixed incomes. These people worked in the 50s and 60s. They only made a certain amount of money. And that's what they're collecting for Social Security. And that's where the problem comes in. You know, these people have no place to go, and they can't afford the rent. So what I'm asking for is the council's support on this fight. I don't know, I don't know what the council can do about it, but I want it perfectly clear that I'm not giving up. She's going to have to evict me if it comes to that point. And I'll go to court. You know, if I have to, I will. I also want to thank the council for approving the $100,000 to help us out. I know for some people up there, it's going to help, you know, but I just don't get where she's coming from. How she can come into a town and destroy the people in this town. So, having said that, I want to thank you very much for listening.
Just a quick comment. I don't think the council, I think the council is supportive of the elderly there. I think George Shinya was the one that sparked the fire. We had the Commissioner of Housing, we had a sit down with him, and although Southbridge put $100,000 up showing that we're going to try and help the best we can, we heard crickets from Boston. You know, the governor's office, I mean, they're putting billions into migrant housing, but they're not putting money into elderly or veteran housing. We sat up there and told him, we want veteran housing, we want, you know, affordable housing for our elders that work their whole life. And he says, we're doing the best we can. And I thought that just fell on deaf ears. But don't think the council is not there at any interval. Wherever you need us, we're there. We do care about our elders.
Believe me, Mr. Chairman, I know you do. And I know everybody sitting here does. I just had to come and voice my opinion, and I want it out there so that the citizens of Southbridge can realize what's going on up there. You know, you get a lot of people talking, and it's not, you know, not true. This is truth. It's just so sad. And hopefully, you know, the state can step in and do something and help us out. But if they don't, these people are, every month, the end of the month, they're worried about their rent going up. It's making them sick. It's awful. When I went around Saturday, I'll tell you, I was sick to my stomach. And this lady doesn't care. You know, she lives in Phillipston, in a $2 million home. Like she needs this money from these elderly people? It's a sin. It's a sin.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens that would like to?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. George Shenya, 243 Dresser Street. I used to live at Lebanon Hill Housing, and I moved out back in July because of the potential rent increase that was coming, and I couldn't afford it. Friday night, my wife and I were contacted by a lady that lives there that's 103 years old and has nowhere to go and cannot pay the rent. We referred her to the Community Development Office to help her out, at least for 3 months, potentially. But 103 years old, no family, and nowhere to go. We're going to put her out into the street. I advised them not to sign the paperwork and let them take them to court. Because when you go to the judge with a 103-year-old lady, I don't believe they're going to, make the lady vacate the apartment. The residents up there fully understand that it's a business, and they're in there to make money. But what they don't understand is the rent increase, a 70% rent increase at one time. And that's the difficult part of the whole thing. So I know you're aware of it. I know the council put forward $100,000 to help the residents up there. There have been some financial help that Ms. Dean's office has done, and I hope it can continue, but it runs out in, I believe, the end of December. So I urge the citizens that live up there, the residents that live up there, take advantage of this program. I know there's some people were denied because their income was, in one case, $900 too much. So I know you're aware of that, and I thank you for your continuing support.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens that would like to address the council on any issues that are not on the agenda tonight?
I'd just like to say one more thing. You know, I came here a little bit early tonight, and we're talking about finances and everything. Now, this person is also remodeling these apartments that empty out. She's putting brand new cabinets in, new countertops, dishwashers, and she is not pulling permits. I spoke with the building inspector. He's been trying to catch them, and he can't. I mean, I understand he has a lot on his plate, and, he can't just sit up there day in and day out waiting for them to deliver cabinets or deliver the dishwasher or whatever. But that's wrong. If she pulls, correct me if I'm wrong, but she pulls a permit for remodeling. Now that means that piece of property is worth more money. Her taxes go up. Am I correct?
Yes, they have to be assessed after the project based off of the building permit.
And she's not pulling a permit.
I can tell you this. Tomorrow we will be talking about it at Town Hall because I did not know that there were no permits on the job. If they have to have a permit by law, they will be getting a permit by law.
She did four apartments in our court.
That's something we can help. Thank you. Any other citizens that would like to address the council on any issues not on the agenda? If not, we're going to be moving on to agenda item number 9, vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Pam Shenevert as library director based upon the Library Board of Trustees' recommendation upon successful completion of all hiring requirements, and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Town Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a little bit about the process. The interviews were conducted by the Library Board of Trustees. They had 2 final interviews conducted on October 20th and October 23rd, and the board voted to select Pam as the next director at its usual October board meeting on the 28th. Pam comes with 10 years of experience in library sciences. She is currently the library director in Paxton, and we're looking forward to welcoming her to the town of Southbridge.
Discussion. Council Dow and Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair, to you. Is Pam here?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Do you like to say anything? Thank you for coming first.
Good evening, thank you for
Are there any
having me.
I just like whatever I'm voted on, I like to see the person, just to make.
Here I am. Does anyone else have any questions?
No,
Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was recommended unanimously at EHS.
Unanimous at subcommittee. Are there any questions of the, go ahead.
what make you to come to Southbridge and leave where you are, if you don't mind asking that?
Sure, I'm happy to answer that question. As someone who had a great education from the Southbridge High School system, and I was able to procure jobs and a bachelor's and a master's in library science, a certification from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners. I'd like to bring my expertise in library science, technology, programming, collection development, budgeting, publicity and marketing to the town of Southbridge. The library is amazing. I think we can expand some of the programs and expand the collection to better reflect the community and take the library to the next step.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions by any other members? If not, thank you very much. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item number 10, vote to authorize a distribution easement to National Grid on the property located on 129 Worcester Street, granting the ability to install, operate, and properly maintain the lines and equipment upon and/or beneath property of the new fire station facility. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion second. This did not go to subcommittee. I talked to Ari Ortiz, and he said it was fine. After talking with the town manager and the deputy chief, that this is something that is part of the construction process, that we do not want to slow it down and continue to support our fire department. Deputy Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, councilors. For the fire station to get power, we're getting it off of the Snow Street line. They're going to install one pole on the property, and then it will move to an underground. They will also have a transformer on the site before it connects to our generator and comes into the facility. This has been in their engineering process for quite some time. It is technically a delay at this point, and I still have to, once this is voted, it still has to go to the Registry of Deeds, and they will not start until that process is done. So,
And all councilors have to sign it. That's what they're asking us for.
yes.
Any questions? Council Dow.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for bringing it forward. We don't have to delay it, and we do support the fire department. Thank you.
Any other discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Make sure we sign that before we leave tonight.
Mrs. Bonadias is actually here right now. She said that she actually needs to see IDs.
License numbers. They really do. Recess real quick.
We'll take a 5-minute recess.
getting back to the...
Mr. Chair?
Thank you very much. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. At this time, I'd like to recognize George Shinya.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to move agenda item number 18 to the next agenda item. And that's the vote to accept a donation from the Rios family of $42,000 or 30% of the PARC grant project of $140,000 for the Marco Rios Memorial Playground at Charlton Street Recreation Area, and to move that to the next agenda item.
Do I hear a motion? We have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Gilpovos. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. We've moved it. It's the next up. Vote to accept a donation from the Rios family of $42,000 or 30% of the park grant project of $140,000 for Marcos Rios Memorial Playground at Charlton Street Recreational Area. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
The
Second.
motion and a second. Discussion.
Well, thank you for moving us up on the agenda. Appreciate that. On behalf of the Rios family, we want to thank the town of Southbridge and everyone. It's been just 4 years since my oldest brother passed away, and he was born and raised in the town of Southbridge, gave back to the community as a pioneer, and sadly, we lost him 4 years ago. And in his memory, we have started the Marcos Rios Memorial account, and we've had a tournament the past 4 years where we raise our funds. We've also have had local businesses, local families, friends have supported us, members of the town council, so we're greatly appreciated for everyone and their efforts of making this dream come true. This actually was an idea of my mom's. I was like, run with it because I'm all set, but she makes things happen, as we all know. So on behalf of my family, the Marcos Rios Memorial, we would like to thank the town of Southbridge and give the 30% of the park. And we can't wait to start it and break ground. And again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Could we please get everybody in here? I would just like to say it's a very enjoyable moment for the Rios family. It's a long time coming. I know it takes time. Sometimes the projects move slow. But the thing is, I'd like to thank Peg Dean and her crew. John Daniel, he's the co-chair. He's 100% in on this. He's the one that runs it. I'm part of the movement. I'm sure the town manager has a comment. The only thing I can say is I've known this family my whole life, and this was a sad thing to lose such a great person. But on the positive side, we're going to build something that's going to be forever, and we're going to really enjoy it. And hopefully, as Mama Rio says, his son will come here and play in that playground. But I'd just like to thank the Rios family and all the volunteers. I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out, but we usually do. I'd like to just ask the acting town manager to have comment. Thank you very much. We'll display the check in the town hall.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much for your contribution, and thank you for the partnership. Definitely Peg Dean for the work that you've done on this project. But again, just thank you very much. This is very much appreciated.
Can we have a round of applause for the Rios family, please? Generosity. Councilors, any comments? If there is no comment, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present? Onward and forward. We'll take care of that. Moving back to agenda item number 11. Vote to establish a tax classification factor of 1.0, a single tax rate in FY 2026 purposes. The Board of Assessors recommends a yes vote for the single tax rate. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion. If there is no discussion, could I have a roll call?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have a statement I'd like to make.
We'll hold. Councilor Daniel.
Thank you very much. Webster, and I made some investigations into the Department of Local Services and got some numbers from a few towns in the area. I looked at Charlton, Dudley, Millbury, Southbridge, and Webster because these towns seem to come up frequently in terms of discussion and in terms of people in town comparing what's going on in terms of tax rates and ratios and that kind of a thing. Webster and Millbury are approximately $1 billion more than Southbridge in total value. These numbers are coming from 2025 according to that government website that I was looking at. Charlton is approximately $1.5 billion more than Southbridge in total value. Webster, Charlton, and Millbury all have lower rates because there's more value to spread the tax levy around on. Getting $1,000 out of $1.86 billion is tougher than getting $1,000 out of $2.81 billion, so the tax rate is lower. Southbridge provides a comprehensive list of services to the public through our schools, police, fire, and DPW. There is also staff at the town hall that handles the behind-the-scenes work to keep everything functioning. Residents have spoken repeatedly that they wish to have these services provided to them. Southbridge already taxes businesses at a higher percentage of the total levy, more so than the other towns listed, save Charlton, at the 1-to-1 ratio. We want to be a business-friendly town and attract new business and industry, yet we already tax businesses more than most of our neighbors on a relative basis. Investors doing their due diligence see this and say, why Southbridge, rather than why not Southbridge? Over my almost 7.5 years on town council, I've repeatedly heard comments amounting to wanting to maintain the excellence of our police and fire departments. People are pleased that we are finally getting road work and underground infrastructure done. The economic director has found between $22 and $27 million in grants to fund some of this work, but as there is much more that grants do not cover. There are buildings being built or in need of repair. More work needs to be done to our infrastructure. Our Public Works Department needs to be supported in order to continue infrastructure work, and of course, our excellent police and fire services must be maintained to provide for our safety and protection. So it really boils down to a Hobson's choice. Keep the taxes the same, or make the taxes lower and lose services of many sorts, or raise taxes in some amount and maintain various services the citizens say they want while not hurting residential owners or businesses too much, spreading the pain around, as it were. I think the best of the bad choices is to vote for a ratio of 90% residential to 110% for business and industry. I realize this will not make me popular with businesses in town, as well as the assessors, and it goes against trying to make Southbridge business-friendly. I base my choice on the idea that the 90-110 split is the smallest split that can be made and makes the business increase less so than other larger splits. The 90-110 split also gives the homeowners in town a break, albeit a small one. The levy doesn't change with this split, so services can be maintained. When the fiscal year 27 budget is debated in the spring is the time to see about making decisions about where budget modifications can be made, if at all. Southbridge is coming to a crossroads, and all roads are leading to higher taxes due to increasing prices for material and increasing overhead. The town does face the same increases in costs that we all face in our own lives every day. It will take much work and honest diligence on the part of the town manager, the town council, and the department heads to produce sound budgets. With this vote tonight, regardless of the outcome, the work begins. Mr. Chair, I wish to amend item number 11, by deleting the words factor of 1.0, a single tax rate, and instead I believe this is the correct way to make it a 90-110 split by saying of 0.90 residential rate and 1.10 CPI rate. I believe that's the way it should be to make that one split. Is that correct, Mr. Assessor? Ms. Assessor?
No, I don't believe that is correct. On one of the sheets that is a slide, but what you're doing is you're adopting a residential factor, and Jasmine can show it to you in a moment. Bear with me. So go back one. So on this slide here, you see in yellow, a factor of 1 is a single tax rate. Above that, it's a factor of 0.97900. That would be a factor of, that would be the 10%, a 10%.
That would be 10%?
Shift.
All right,
Yes.
then I wish the amendment to read as recommended by the esteemed guest. So it would be a factor of 0.979.
Sorry. She lost it again.
Looking for that 10%?
Yes.
979, yes. It will then shift the burden more to the commercial and the industrial.
Yes,
Yes.
just by 10%.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I want, no more than 10%.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion, council?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is some very good information to be able to compare the value of the property in this town to towns that we always make comparisons to, and to the tune of a $1 billion difference. And I just would like to remind the citizens, and especially the people who have been very deep in the school discussion for the last 10, 15 years, this is a direct result of the property value tanking due to the state of Massachusetts putting the Southbridge schools into receivership, and after 10 years, still producing the worst scores of MCAS in history. So, I and nobody else should point fingers at anybody in this room at all for this problem, and we are doing our best to navigate through it. This is a very creative amendment, and I just need you to remember, you can blame and you can thank the state of Massachusetts Department of Education for the reason that we have such a disparity in our $1 billion property valuation. That is a fact. Thank you.
Can I ask for a recommendation from the Board of Assessors? Or will, I mean...
May I? Yeah, so there's a detailed presentation here which shows all of the factors and what goes into it. The Board of Assessors recommends, and I'm not on the board any longer, but they are, recommends a factor of 1, a single tax rate, the same as it's been the last several years. And there's a plethora of reasons why. I can tell you, you mentioned, bear with me a second, I want to get to, you mentioned the other towns, because that's a really important thing. This slide here is from the DOR. They have a list of a ranking of all single-family property tax bills and average single-family property tax bills. This is last year because most towns haven't completed the process yet, but you see Southbridge for last year, the average single-family tax bill was $48.30. And to the column to the left of that column is average single-family values. But so Southbridge $48.30, Sturbridge is $7,691, plus in addition they have a 3% CPA. It's a surtax on top of that. Charlton is $5,161, Auburn is $6,006, Dudley $4,411, Webster $5,141, and Oxford $5,170. So, you know, these are the facts. This is where Southbridge ranks as far as what they're paying in property tax, straight from the DOR. On the very top row again, on the far right, you see 280. Southbridge ranks 280th out of the 351 communities in regards to the lowest single-family property tax. So that means what? There's 279 towns with a higher single-family property tax. And you see what the other towns below that are. Sturbridge is 117. You know, all of those pay a higher amount of single-family property tax. I just use this. I just like, you know, This stuff it's a ton of numbers, it really is. But some things kind of stand out at you when you're looking at this, because I used to hear it all the time when I worked here. Southbridge, why Sturbridge is cheaper than us? It's like, no, they're not. Where do you come up with that number? $7,691 last year, plus a surtax. So anyway, that's that. Out of all of these communities, I think Sturbridge used to have a split tax rate. They worked hard. They got it back to a single tax rate. I think it was in 2015 or so, approximately. I don't remember exactly. Webster had a single family, a split tax rate. They worked at it for 15 years, and they got it in 2020 to get away with that. Because if you go away from it, you're giving the residents a little bit of relief. But as you're trying to get back to it, every year there's a tax increase everywhere. It's just the way of the world. Things go up in cost. But in Webster, they had a raise in property tax, and then as they tried to shift back to a single tax rate, that had to be borne on all the residences as well. It took 15 years to do it. Oxford, for some reason, 2 years ago, they did split it. They split it to a 10%, a 10% shift like that's been proposed here. And it's kind of intoxicating because you have a way where you can give yourself a raise or cut your cost and whatever. So this year they increased it to 15%. Once you go down that road, it's really tough. I'm a little passionate with this because in all my experience in talking to many, many different assessors everywhere, it's not a great idea unless you're in a community like a Boston or all of these places where they're going to come anyway. If you're on 495, these people, the tax bill is not even a thought. We got a place on 495, we're thrilled. That's, the rent is far more. So as I said, she has a very detailed presentation, but I don't want to go into that. I just want to show you, this slide here is the one where I got that number. You asked about a 10% shift, and that would be a factor of 0.97900. So to do that, the average single family, you see it in the column, in the third column, if there's a single tax rate, it's $5,069. That's the average single-family tax bill in town. If you do a 10% shift, that would go down to $4,964, which is what, $105. But to do that, if you look to either of the columns on the right, the average commercial with a single tax rate is $8,938. To save $100 to that residential taxpayer on the left, you're increasing the average commercial by what? About $900. And to the right with average industrial, about the same thing. And the reason for that is Southbridge this year is made up of 6% of residential properties. And that means whatever the difference is, 17.4 is commercial. So to save the average residential property, the tax rate, $1, you have to increase the commercial by about $4. It's just the way the math works out. So again, we're 82% residential. People ask, and I've heard that this got asked at the Webster classification hearing last week, what point is the point where it kind of makes sense to do it, where you're not, to save $1, you're not having to add $4 to somebody else's tax bill? And the answer has been the same I've heard for many, many years. At about 75% residential or 70% residential or 30% commercial or 25% commercial, it starts to make sense. One last slide, and I'm just passionate because I know this stuff. I'm trying to help her out here. Whatever you do, you do, and it'll go on. I just trying to give you my expertise here. So let me think for 1 second. Where did I put that? Okay. So this slide here, these are the cities and towns that split the tax rate in green. And you see we're in the middle, right? We're 84 and between 395. There's nobody around us. If you take, what is that? The Mass Pike to Worcester, you'll see Auburn and Worcester in green. They split their tax rate. Oxford does now. It's not highlighted because this is an older map from 2020. But there is virtually nobody else in Central Mass, all the way up to Fitchburg to the top, Leominster, Shrewsbury. I mean, it would be us, Oxford, and Worcester and Auburn. That's it. So anyway, I probably answered more than you wanted but that's,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Mr. Montague?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, sorry if you guys said this already. How much % residential do we have now?
What is it, 82 point?
82.6%.
Okay, so we're a little ways away from 70 to 75.
Yes.
And did I see those numbers right? That if we were to do this, it saves the home $150 roughly on the average tax bill, and it increases the commercial tax bill by $1,100?
It does. It does. So you see the 5,069, and that highlighted yellow is all one tax rate. Above it would be a 10% shift, and yeah, on the commercial, 8,938, and it would increase to 8,333, so about $1,000. And what these are is the higher up, you see average single family, so that's $340,888. That's the entire value of all the single families divided by the number of single families. So that's how you get the average. The same thing with the commercial, the same thing with the industrial.
Okay, and it's because we have obviously so much less commercial that the number goes up so much more.
Yeah, because like I said, to save $1 for the residential, you have to charge about $4 more.
Okay, I just want to make sure so everybody at home understands like what's being presented. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure that's a good move with the economic development that we're having, and we're experiencing the building of the business areas with the TIPS project, the Central Street project. To add $1,100 to some business that's starting up, might as well just kill the business.
If I may too, I'd like a point, just to clarify something, because during the public hearing, I heard, I don't know if it was residents or a counselor, but I think it was a resident mentioned we should charge all the landlords more money to pay, you know, they're landlords, they're collecting rents. It doesn't matter. Rosemead, no matter how it's a $30 million property, it's residential. So if you voted to shift the tax base to the commercial, Rosemead and every other apartment building, three-family, whatever, 100 unit, they would get part of this break. They wouldn't pay more, they would pay less, because they're a residential property. It's nothing the assessors does here, it's state law.
So TAG would get a break.
TAG would get a break.
Okay, thank you.
Can you explain to me, you take a property like TAG that was recently sold for $14 million, but on the town's book, I believe it's worth much less. You pay property tax on much less money than the $14 million that they paid for it.
That's an excellent question. So every year we have to update all of the values based on the sales, what the rents are, what income for income producing properties are. TAG, you mentioned it to us last year.
Yeah.
It had recently sold like 2 months before, I think it was November of a year ago. And so that was a sale that we look at in setting the new values. Very important sale, because that sale was an indicator of what the market was valuing large apartment buildings at. So TAG, for example, last year they were valued at $6,438,000, and that was based on a sale that happened in 2023 of $7,000,001. Well, the sale last year, it sold for $12,760,000. So the new value for TAG this year is going to be, it's not TAG anymore. We all use that name, but it's not TAG. But the new value is $11,502,000. So it reflects the current environment. So,
But it's been sold again for 14, a little bit over 14 million, I think.
now it's sold for $12,760,000.
Well, that's paperwork, I guess, we don't all get, so.
I'm sorry, what?
No, that was the sale from '24.
Yeah, the 24 was $12,760,000. Her staff goes on to the Registry of Deeds every day and downloads all of the sales. Okay.
Any other discussion, Councilor? I'm sorry, Councilor Adams? Yield?
I yield.
Yield, Councilor Daniels?
Thank you. First, I want to thank Council Shenya for seconding the amendment. I appreciate that, so we could bring it up and discuss what's going on. I think it's good, healthy discussion that we're having tonight because of that. I want the public to know that I'm not ignorant of the logic that's being presented tonight. I understand full well what the numbers are, and they're very compelling. I know that in the past, 6 votes maybe that I've taken in this particular agenda item, because it comes up every year, I voted for a 1-to-1 ratio, and pretty much for the same reasons that were brought up tonight. However, why the difference tonight? I just want people to understand that I recognize what the public is going through. I recognize that expenses are going up for all of us, and I understand that at some point, somewhere, sometime, something needs to be done, even if it's just a statement, a minor statement. It's not insignificant money that I'm talking about, or that we're talking about, in terms of what commercial property and industrial property would be asked to make up the difference. I get that. And it's not a lot of money that I'm asking to save for the homeowner either. It's not a lot of money. I get that as well. At some point, though, as a town, somewhere, either now or in the spring, as I said previously in my statement, we've got to start making some tough decisions. Someone has got to stand up and start making some tough decisions. We have been spending a lot of money, justifiably, because that's what the town has wanted. That's exactly what the town has wanted. You want your roads paved? What is it, $1 million a mile now to pave a road? You want a fire station? I want a fire station, but you got to pay for it. No one's building them for free. You want police and fire? You want an ambulance at your house when your loved one is having a heart attack? No one's working for free. The training to learn how to prevent that person from passing on when they're having a heart attack costs money. Now, I'm not going to get into a discussion about whether or not someone or some group of people should be taking more or taking less. The point that I'm trying to make is that somewhere down the road, we as the town council need to take some serious looks and make some serious decisions about what is going on. And we may need to make some decisions that are not going to make townspeople happy. But that's what you voted us in for. So I'm making a statement tonight. I may get voted down, and that's fine. That's the way it goes. But I'm making the statement here that says that we start looking at this seriously. Trash issues, DPW, roads, infrastructure, fire, police, town hall staffing. This building needs work here, the town hall. It's all coming down at us. We're not paying attention to that. We need to start looking at it, because if we don't look at it, why not Southbridge is going to amount to a hill of beans. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion by any other councilors on the amendment?
Thank you, Chair.
Councilor Dow?
I just want to make a small comment. We do have a major issue in town right now. Everybody coming in with the idea, we have a lot of commercial building empty because the way we do a business in town. We're not a friendly business. I don't believe that is true. We're a friendly business. And everybody's coming to do apartment, residential, and now we're gonna raise the tax more on businesses and residential. Good luck having any business in town. I think we're kicking everybody out. We're gonna be only residential town if that happens. Thank you.
Adams and then
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just appreciate what Councilor Daniel mentioned. I mean, this will be my 7th vote on a tax rate, and the biggest thing Will taught me quite a bit, and sometimes taught me too much information for me to maintain. But I will say this is, we've been around that 78, 82% residential for at least 8 years now. It hasn't changed much. The intent was to always keep, try to keep it lower for the commercial, so they can come. Some commercial businesses can come in here, and I haven't really seen that change. Actually, I've seen it go up more last few years, and I know Oxford just recently did theirs, split the tax. But I will say this is, that, there are other ways in which throughout this season or throughout this fiscal year we can lower it. Counselor or the chair and I have talked multiple times for seniors as far as water and sewer discounts here and there. That's actually going to take money, give them money back and not the landlords themselves. We've talked about that. You guys did the property taxes last year for the veterans, and we're looking at doing local clauses. I know I've talked to Jasmine about this, local clauses. Taking a look at that for seniors this year, and those are ways in which we can affect immediately the seniors within the community and individuals in the community, not the people that are collecting the funds at the end of the day for rent. So, it's a tough one to say, and I look at it, it's a hard decision because I tell you what, for I think 7 years, I always wonder what would happen if we split it for this year and see how it went, and I'm not sure if it's going to make that big of a difference when there's other ways in which we could do it. We do utilize CDBG funds that were, luckily enough with PEG and Sue, were still available to have offset some of the costs, but that money went right to the landlords, not really to the residents themselves. So it's a tough one, and I appreciate you bringing it up tonight, and just a little bit more thought process on my side, but that's all. Thank you.
Councilor Kelly.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I think keeping the rates even is the right thing to do. I don't see how you attract business by raising taxes on business. And the way this would work is that you would raise taxes substantially on business for very, very small savings to the homeowner. Homeowners will benefit in the long run if we can attract business into the community because their property values will go up. If we kill business in town, and that's what this will do, if we adopt a split, we'll kill business in town, we'll make Southbridge much less attractive to do business in, your property values are going to go down. Well, very simple. I mean, it's very simple economics here. So if you want to be a prosperous town, which I certainly want us to be a prosperous town, this is not the way to go. So, in my opinion, I'll be voting against the amendment, and I will be voting for a single tax rate. Thank you.
Any other discussion by anybody else? Councilor Chinya?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I second this motion so it could get up for discussion. I too was going to vote yes on this, but the issue I have is for the last 3 years that I've been here, we talk about if we're going to change the tax rate, how it's going to chase business away. Well, we leave it at an even number, and business is still leaving. It's not keeping people here. The problem, as Councilor Dow says, the problem that we have with business trying to come here is the difficulty that the business has to come here. The loops and jumps and everything else they got to go through to come establish a business, they get the heck with it. It shouldn't take months upon months upon months to get a business going in town, so they leave. The businesses that are here, the permitting process that they go through, the difficulties they have, the business leaves, they get tired of it. So those are the issues that we need to address sooner than later. We keep saying we're going to do that, but we don't. And like I say, I'm going to vote for this yes on this. I know my son would like me to vote no, but it's a difficult thing for us to sit here and do this. But we're saving a residential home $100 on the tax rate. So is that really a whole lot of money that we're going to be saving them? $105? I think they would rather leave that $105 there and use it for a better purpose. So I'll be voting yes.
Any other discussion? Councilor Montigny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to clarify, a yes vote would be to do this amendment. A no vote would be to not change to a split rate, because we're on Councilor Daniel's amendment right now.
Oh, you're right.
But doing out some of the math I have in front of me, I think it's almost $4,000 a year tax break for TAG, and it's about less than $100 tax break for someone like myself, and it's about $1,000 increase for a business. So I think the only people that this would really help is someone like TAG or Case Street apartments or Rosemead, and I just don't think that we need to do them any favors right now. I think, especially with Mr. Barassa earlier, I think we need to stick to the 1.0 rate. Thank you.
Any other discussion by council? Peg Dean.
Yes, if I may, Economic Development and Planning Director Peg Dean, I'd be remiss to not stand up and say I, out of my office, am supporting community and businesses as much as possible. Those local businesses that are not leaving are facing the same struggles that all of our community members are, and so I just know that that would be hard for them. Not to distract from the conversation, but I just want to remind us all that I think that councilors in the past have brought up on the floor the idea of residential exemptions at the 11th hour, and it's something that I think perennially is said, oh, we should consider this sometime outside of tax classification hearings. And so I know that it's controversial, but if you targeted it very specifically at a very maybe low percentage to affect the highest dollar value apartment buildings, if you did a profile, a portfolio of the highest valued apartment buildings, and then you tried a strategic residential exemption to try to be able to penalize them in the slightest way, that might be a strategy that the town would see as a benefit to our local residents. Just my comments.
Any further discussion by council? I would just like to thank Councilor Daniels. Healthy discussion is good government. Disagreement is fine. But I think by putting it out there and talking about it, it allows the public to know. We've been on a gravy train, gang, for a while on council. It's been great. We haven't really had a tough budget. I've never seen one since I've been involved this time. I've seen them the last time I was in the 80s, were the worst times. So I definitely am going to be voting no on the amendment, but to spur this discussion, I give Councilor Daniels an A. We can disagree on how we're going to vote, but the thing is, for the public to see the development of Southbridge and what's happening right now, something's happening in this town of a rehabilitation of a community. The schools are the only thing that's dragging us, and I guarantee you we're on it. The Vice Chairman and Chairman, we're dealing with it on a private sector, but we're moving it behind the scenes. I think really this tonight was a good discussion on setting that tax rate, and I thank you, John, for bringing it, to stirring the passion and the knowledge of every councilor and person to do whatever you think in your heart is the right thing to do for the town of Southbridge. Put Southbridge first on this vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion? If not, roll call on the amendment. A vote, yes, will have a split tax rate.
I'll start with Councilor Daniel.
Yes.
Councilor Dow.
No.
Councilor Provost.
No.
Councilor Lazo.
No.
Councilor Montigny.
No.
Councilor Adams.
No.
Councilor Chenier.
No.
Oh, Councilor Kelly.
No.
Thank you.
Save the best for last. The amendment fails. Back to the main motion. Is there any discussion on the main motion? If not, roll call.
Councilor Dow.
Yes.
Councilor Kelly.
Yes.
Councilor Provost.
Yes.
Councilor Lazo.
Yes.
Councilor Montigny.
Yes.
Councilor Adams.
Yes.
Councilor Chenier.
Yes.
And Councilor Daniel.
No.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12, vote to establish a tax classification of property for FY26 tax purposes for a small commercial exemption. The Board of Assessors recommends a no vote on this one. Do I have a motion?
Possible.
Motion by Dow,
Second.
seconded by Chenier. Discussion. If there is no discussion, roll call.
Councilor Kelly.
No.
Councilor Provost.
No.
Councilor Lazo.
No.
Councilor Montigny.
No.
Councilor Adams.
No.
Councilor Chenier.
No.
Councilor Daniel.
No.
Councilor Dow.
No.
Moving on to 3, vote to establish a tax classification of property for FY26 tax purposes for a residential exemption. The Board of Assessors recommends a no vote. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Second.
There's a motion, second by Daniels. Discussion? If no further discussion, roll call.
Counselor Provost.
No.
Counselor Lazo.
No.
Counselor Montigny.
No.
Counselor Adams.
No.
Counselor Chenier.
No.
Counselor Daniel.
No.
Counselor Dow.
No.
Counselor Kelly.
No.
Moving on to 14, vote to enter into an agreement to continue use of the community center by the Veterans Council of Southbridge and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This came to EHS Subcommittee and was recommended unanimously for approval.
Recommendation subcommittee was favorable. Discussion? Council?
For the record, Mr. Chairman, Councilor Adams has recused himself on this matter.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Just one more real quick.
Council?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just correct me if I'm wrong, but this is about the road race. This is just to secure the site for the road race every year so we can partner up with the long-standing Lemire July 4th road race. Thank you.
That is correct.
Thanks.
Any further discussion? Just like to add, I know the road race is, I think, the third or second oldest race in the state. With the VFW going by the wayside, I mean, I was a young man, I lived across the street, and every 4th of July was a road race. It's nice to have the road race have a home base in one of the community centers, and I think it's a good thing, and I think we got to continue the tradition of the road race. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Vote to accept updated winter parking ban routes for FY 2025-2026.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second.
Unanimous of all present, in favor of.
DPW unanimous at subcommittee. Further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 16, vote to accept an update to our parking regulations and signs on Hamilton Street from Main Street to Hamilton Street, and to authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Councilor Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I would like to make an amendment to this motion, clarified just a little bit from what we read the other night, as there's much discussion on it at the subcommittee. But the subcommittee did unanimously in favor of it. But I wanted to just amend it to vote to accept updating parking regulations on Hamilton Street, establishing no parking except business parking from Main Street / Hamilton Street to Marcy Street, and to authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork. Just kind of clarified it up.
I'll second that.
There's an amendment on the floor, seconded by Councilor Chenier. Discussion.
I'm sorry, and that should be 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Any discussion? Councilor
Thank you, Chair, through you. I think if I understood correct, Councilors Adam, he got a point because he got a residence there. They need to park when they come home at night. There's no more businesses during the day. I think we should give them the opportunity to be able to park after a certain hour when they come home from work. I mean, that's what you meant early, Councilor Adam?
We'll still have an opportunity to park. I think the biggest thing here was people were parking there. Even they said 2 hours. Before it used to be 2 hours there, and they parked there all day long. Constant complaints from the businesses trying to get people to attract them right there in front of their shops.
Correct.
So this would change this a bit.
So you say we're gonna do the hours from 7 to 6
7 to 6.
p.m. and after that they can park till 7 in the
Yes,
morning,
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
That's what I meant, yeah. Thank you.
And Councilor, the parking commission was favorable?
Yes, it was. Matter of fact, we talked about a different time. Everybody was favorable with that, but I also know there was a business owner who came in and said brought up 7 to 6. It's on the video.
Sounds good. The amendment's on the floor. It's a motion and second. Discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to the main motion as amended. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to agenda item number 17, vote to accept the park grant award of $98,000 or 70% of the park grant project to fund the rubberized surface and playground equipment for the Marcos Rios Memorial Playground at Charlton Street Recreation Area, and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Here's a motion and second. Discussion. Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, the P&D Subcommittee voted unanimously to accept this grant, and it's contributing a large amount in addition to the Rios Family Grant. We're going to have one hell of a nice-looking playground down there. It's going to be great.
Mr. Chair. Just want to add in there, we talked about this the other day. Also, the state will be coming to us with a $25,000 grant as well. So that's even added to it. So I appreciate the Rios is doing all this stuff. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I just want one quick comment. I love the Rios Park design. It's much better in a recreation area than a dog kennel. This council moved it into the DPW pen. I think it was a great move, opened up an opportunity. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 18, vote to accept.
We already moved that earlier.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. That's why I had it circled. Moving on to 19, thank you, Councilor Dow. Number 19, vote to accept a donation from Claire DeLage for $75 for the Community Day and the ribbon cutting for the Quinnebog Valley Rail Trail to provide cider and donuts. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Is a motion and second? Discussion. No discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 20. Vote to accept a donation from Globe Village Realty for Sherwin-Williams Paint for the Trails Committee to paint the caboose. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Motion and second. Discussion. No discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 21, vote to approve amendment number 2, the agreement between the town of Southbridge and Esteban Veras and Angela Arcevado. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Discussion. Councilor Daniels.
This was voted 3-0 to move forward.
Unanimous at subcommittee to move forward. Any other discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 22, vote to approve Amendment 2, the agreement by and between the town of Southbridge and JIO LLC. Allow the town manager sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Discussion. Councilor Daniels.
This was voted unanimously as well.
Unanimous at subcommittee. Further discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 23, vote to approve the Amendment 1 to the March 19th, 2025 agreement between the town of Southbridge and Timeless Beauty Bar and Salon. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. Councilor Daniels.
This was voted unanimously as well.
Unanimous at subcommittee. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 24, vote to accept the CDGB FY 22-23 Housing Rehab Project 3, Amendment Number 2 to the agreement by and between the town and the property owners. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Is there an amendment? Was it favorable at?
It was voted 2-1 favorably.
Favorable at subcommittee. Peg Dean?
If I could speak on CDBG Coordinator Sue Starkey's behalf, she wanted to notify you that there was a dollar change in the supporting documentation from your final amount of $133,400 and change to $133,900 and change. So it's a $525 difference in your supporting documentation.
So there's a difference of $525.
Right.
Is there, everybody all set with that? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 25, vote to approve the CDBG FY 22-23 Housing Rehab Project 4, Amendment Number 1, to the agreement by and between the town of Southbridge and the property owner, allowing the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
So moved.
Motion is second. Council Daniels,
Thank you. This was a split vote, 2-1 favorably.
favorable to subcommittee? Any more further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 26, vote to approve the CDBG Housing Rehab Project 5, Amendment 1, to the agreement by and between the town and the property owner. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
So moved.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. Council Daniels,
This was a split vote, 2-1 favorably.
favorable to subcommittee. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 27, vote to approve for the CDBG Housing Rehab Project 6, Amendment 1, to the amendment by and between the town and the property owner. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Motion by Dow,
Second.
seconded by Shinya. Council Daniels,
This was a split vote, 2-1 favorable.
favorable to subcommittee. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 28, vote to approve into an agreement between the town of Southbridge and the Timeless Beauty Bar and Salon LLC for a CDBG funded commercial rehabilitation loan in the amount of $14,500 for signage, awning, lighting, lights and electrical work, and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork when all required documents with signatures are attached.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Council Daniels,
Thank you. This was a 3-0 vote.
positive.
Yep,
At
I'm
subcommittee.
sorry, yes, favorable.
Any further discussion? Not all in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 29, vote to accept the quote of Costello Dismantling Company Incorporated for the emergency demolition of 18-30 Mill Street, not to exceed $318,000, and allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
There's a motion and second. Discussion. Madam Town Manager?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we do have a DCAM waiver. We went out and sought 3 quotes for the demolition of 30 Mill Street. 2 were non-responsive. This is the one vendor who gave us a quote, so we're bringing the quote forward.
Any discussion? Councilor Kelly, then Councilor Adams.
So, once we enter into this contract, how quickly can they start bringing that building down?
So we did a site visit sometime last week. We're waiting on the report of their lead contractor to give us the timeline on that. We should be receiving that tomorrow.
Thank you.
If you could email all the councilors on that, we'd appreciate it. Councilor Adams?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I know it says once they start, it'll be about 15 days or 2 weeks. I know some of the businesses have asked, and so appreciate you getting all that information. Thank you for getting the 3 quotes and getting this a lot, $318,000, no chump change, but it's a lot cheaper than it was estimated to be. I think it was almost $700,000. So thank you for doing that. Great job.
Councilor Montague?
Thank you. Yes, this one did come in on time and under budget. Just a quick question. Everybody asked me from town about this project, if it's going to be hauled away, like all the debris, from both sites, the current existing site and the new demolition will all be cleaned up?
So this is part of the DEP plan that we're still, is still under review. Most likely what will happen, it is going to stay there. It will be covered appropriately. We will be coming back for more money to clear up the debris.
Thank you.
I think one of the things that was brought up was probably once we go through the DEP, they were talking about mining some of the stuff like the brick, the values. A lot of people palletize it, companies, and they use it as used brick. So, I mean, I think the building commissioner was mentioning a couple bright spots in that. So, one day at a time. But first thing, I think is the safety. The building is bulged, it's breached part of the wall, so if that thing comes down, it's going to come down in a long distance, and that's what they're afraid of. So I think, moving forward's a proper thing. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Councilors Forum, Councilor Adams,
Nothing tonight.
Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I'd just like to thank the Veterans Council and, of course, Councilor Adams for his leadership on that council. They put on quite an event on Veterans Day. I was honored to speak at that event to the veterans, myself being a veteran. And it was just quite an event, and I hope next year, if you're a veteran out there and you did not get to attend the luncheon on Veterans Day, please make a point to come down and be with your other veterans and enjoy a really nice event. Thank you.
Councilor Dow.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I also want to thank the Veterans Council for the splendid work that they did on last Tuesday, and the luncheon that they had, but also the ceremony at the Memorial Park that was held earlier in the morning that day. Spectacular job all the way around, something we've come to expect when Councilor Adams is involved in the workings that are going on behind the scenes. I want to assure the townsfolk that I am not anti-business. I just want to make sure that you understand that, but something needs to be done, something needs to be said, and I'm willing to say it. Thank you.
Councilor Provost.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I'd also like to thank the Veterans Council and Mr. Adams over there for doing a great job for our veterans in Southbridge. I also was a vet, and amazing dinner. Thank you very much.
Councilor Shinya.
Mr. Chairman, if you can indulge me with a prepared statement that I have. Over the last couple of weeks, I have found myself in a position of considerable criticism regarding my stance on the regional dispatch center that has been proposed by the town manager as well as both the police and fire chiefs. This proposal has sparked a significant amount of debate within our community. Unfortunately, some of us have been subject to various forms of personal attacks. We were called names that I would never have expected to hear from fellow community members, made the target of ridicule on social media platforms where some people seem to feel emboldened to say anything without consequences. I even faced comments from a neighboring fire chief. This fire chief claimed that my vote was influenced by external pressure, suggesting that I chose to align with what he termed the winning side rather than making an independent decision based on my own beliefs. Additionally, I encountered a troubling suggestion from a resident who's also a member of a local Southbridge board, questioning me as, am I calling I won't use this council's name, a liar, which is not only untrue, but also deeply damaging to the trust and respect that should exist among us as elected officials. These experiences have been disheartening, and they highlighted the challenges we face in navigating differing opinions within our community while trying to maintain our integrity and commitment to public service. Let me explain my vote. We received a letter from the town manager dated September 22nd, 2025. In this letter, and I quote, "Enclosed for your reference is the complete 126-page feasibility study prepared by Mission Critical Partners. However, it is important to clarify that the study's primary focus was initially on creation of a brand new regional center, which differs significantly from what we are recommending. While the report contains valuable information, several components, particularly the financial projections, do not accurately reflect our proposed approach to joining an existing operation." I didn't catch this comment at first, and when I did, it raised a flag for me. I said to myself, why would you give us a proposal that could be flawed? This question lingered in my mind, especially considering the implications for our community. The thought that we might be basing our decision on potentially inaccurate data was concerning. as the stakes are incredibly high when it comes to public safety and resource allocation. During an October 6, 2025 subcommittee meeting, I presented questions to the police chief, fire chief, and town manager. The chief provided us with his response, yet I still had concerns about various aspects of the proposal. I fully understand that there are some potential cost savings and enhanced coordination benefits. However, these comes with a notable downsides. For instance, loss of local control is a significant issue that may lead to a disconnect between the community needs and the services provided. Additionally, the potential for layoffs, diminished personnel services, and the challenges associated with transitioning to a new system cannot be overlooked. One of my primary concerns was the potential layoff of dispatchers currently employed. We were originally told that they would have jobs if they decided to move to the regional dispatch center. However, I have since learned that they would have to apply for the positions and jobs are not guaranteed. This uncertainty creates anxiety for those who have dedicated their careers to serving our community. Furthermore, we had concerns regarding the police station going dark once the decision was made. We were assured by the police chief that this would not happen, but it was also mentioned that more personnel would be needed to replace the dispatchers in order to maintain 24/7 coverage. This raises the question, is there really a cost savings for the community if we are required to hire additional personnel to fill the gaps left by the transition? It was at this point that I decided not to support the regional dispatch as presented. The balance of cost versus the quality of service and community impact is a dedicated one, and I believe we must prioritize the needs and well-being of our residents above all else. Thank you.
Councilor Montigny.
Thank you. Nothing tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Montigny, agenda item number 31, discussion of next meeting dates.
Yes, the town council meeting will be held Monday, December 1st, 2025 at 7 p.m.
Finally, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present with this meeting adjourned.